So for the next session, please welcome Nitesh Kumar. He'll present on the Sitecore CDP and Personalize. So yeah, over to you, Nitesh.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Uh, so, myself, Nitesh Kumar, I'm a technical lead at All2Do. And today we are going to take a deep dive into Sitecore CDP and Personalize. So, we use Sitecore CDP to collect real-time user interaction data. And then based on that data, we'll personalize the user experience. So, instead of me explaining it, let me show you what do I mean. Okay, I'm not able to. Okay. Yeah. So this is a demo site. This is a Play Summit site which Sitecore maintains, and this is like an year-old checkout. So this might look different from the current one, but it works. So basically, you have a different set of events over here, and whichever event you are interested in, you can take a look and then you can buy your tickets. That's all the site does. So let me take a look at one of the events, let's say closing keynote. So right now I am an anonymous user, so I'm not logged in to this particular site. So site does not know who I am. So this is how CDP works. When my application talks to CDP, CDP will provide a browser ID, a unique browser ID, and then every interaction will be tracked through that browser ID. Let me show you that. So this browser ID will be sent as a part of a cookie. So you can see here, this is the browser ID. Let me go to the Sitecore CDP. So Sitecore CDP was earlier known as Boxsaver. Then Sitecore acquired it. So you can, I'll use both terms interchangeably. This is how the interface looks like. This is your organization name, and this is where all the guests are present. There are two kinds of guests in CDP. One is customer and one is visitor. So right now I'm a visitor because I'm not logged into the website, so CDP does not know who I am. So let me try to find myself. So I have the browser ID. So all I need to do is BID, which means browser ID, and there I go. You can go to the timeline and you can see what all action I have performed. So you see, I just viewed this closing keynote page, right? Let me close this for a while. I just viewed this page, closing keynote, and you can see that it is being tracked here. I have viewed this particular session. Let me go to some other event, and let's see if it works. Let's go to this one, ask an expert. Yeah, and now let me go to CDP and try to refresh my interaction. And that particular page should be here. Yeah, pretty simple. Now let's see how it works. The integration is actually pretty simple. There are only two things that you would need at your CDP site. The two things are point of sale and the API key. So the point of sale you can consider as a project, like you can host multiple projects in one CDP instance. So each project will qualify as one point of sale. So it's pretty simple to create a point of sale. Just go there, click on create. The interface is very simple. Give the name, market brand, whatever it is. I have already created for this particular site, and it is known as Play Summit. Yeah? And then I need to have an API access key. This is the client key that I'll be using to interact with CDP. Don't worry, it's going to be public anyways. Now, to interact with, to integrate with CDP, these are the two steps that you need to do. Let me show you using the code. So first of all, you need to have the Boxsaver JS. Yeah. You need to include this on your page. All of the pages that you want to be tracked through CDP, you need to include this particular JS, and then you need to include this particular script ID on that page. So in that script ID, we are doing two actions. One is we are creating a Boxsaver queue object, and then another is we are creating a Boxsaver settings item. In the settings item, we are providing the client key that we just looked at. And then in the target, we are exposing which API of Boxsaver we want to connect to. So right now, I'm connecting to 1.2, but I have heard their version 2 point something is also out. So you can try connecting with that. Cookie domain is optional. Point of sale, as we discussed, you need to provide this. And that's it. We are done. If you have included these two sections, and you have your point of sale created here in your CDP, that's all the integration you need. So if CDP is not working, if you are not able to track your data in your application, that means either you have not included the script or you have not included this particular item on your page. As simple as that. Now let's see how Boxsaver is tracking all of those pages. Yeah. So if I go back to there's something called events in CDP. So whenever I visit a page, I need to send a view event. Okay. I'll show how it looks like. So first of all, I'll showcase how does the JSON looks like. Okay. So you need to create an object of this sort, where I'm talking about the mandatory things. Others are optional. Okay. So mandatory ones are the type. This type has to be view, and then point of sale, and then the browser ID. Okay. This browser ID you can get programmatically. I'll show you. Right now, this is just an example. Okay. So these are the main attributes that you need to have. Otherwise, it will not work. Others are optional. So I'll talk about what are others, and because I need to talk about data model first for that. So I'll do it later. But for now, just see that you need to provide type, you need to provide your pause, and then you need to provide your browser ID. So let me show you a code where I have used it. Sample code, yeah. So this is how, this is just JSS application, but this applies anywhere. You just need to create an object of this sort, yeah. Instead of type delete from cart, here the type will be view for view to tracking view events. Okay, and then you need to push it to the Boxsaver queue object. If you remember, in the first slide we saw that we had created a Boxsaver queue object. So all you need to do is push your JSON object in that queue, create an event, fire an event, create method, and done. That's all. Okay, so this is all about view events. Let me show how does a visitor changes into a customer. So for that, I need to have identification resolution. There's something called identity resolution in CDP. where basically your organization will define like how do you identify each user uniquely. So in my example that I'm going to show, in that example, every user will have a unique email. Some other organization may suggest that, okay, I have a loyalty number option where each user will have a different loyalty number. So that's their unique identification. So up to you, you can set it in CDP. For me, I'm setting it up as an email address, okay? So let me quickly go and try to log in on this system. Let me try to book a ticket. Let me try to check out. Okay, so now as soon as I click next, something will happen. So I'll open the network tab as well to show what calls I'm making to CDP, okay? Nitesh at all to do, okay. So this is the request that I made to box saver. The main object that we need to look at is this one, okay? So this is an object that we need to form using our coding, of course. And in that, we need to send type as identity, okay? For a better view, let me open it in Visual Studio. Yeah? So your type should be identity. And then you need to mention, like in your organization, what is the identity provider. So I have, in my organization, I'm using provider as email. So once you have identified that, I just need to send the email. Yeah? And once this is done, once I have sent this data to CDP, you'll see that I am now converted to a customer. So how do I verify that? I'll just quickly grab the browser ID again. Yeah. I'll go to guest. Now if I try to look for that browser ID, you'll see that now I am Nitesh at all to do. Yeah? Instead of a visitor, I'm now a customer. Okay? And that's not it. If I have already worked with CDP, if I already had an account on this particular system, what CDP will do is merge two profiles. So whatever action, let's say I am on a website on my laptop, okay? I have interacted with this site, Play Summit, on my laptop, okay? As a Nitesh at alltodo.co. Then I went to my mobile phone. Again, I interacted with Play Summit. There I have not logged in yet, okay? But as soon as I log in on my mobile phone, those two interactions will be merged, and all of that data will be present here. So let me show that. If I go to nitesh.alltodo, and if I go to timeline, you'll see my previous interactions with CDP as well, like you can see like 24th, 23rd, all of that information is available, yeah? And you can also see the interaction that I just did. That was in the last browse section. You see, I viewed the closing keynote page and I viewed an expert outdoor survival page, yeah? So that's about the identity resolution. So this is all the CDP part that I wanted to talk about. Now let's talk about personalization, okay? I have like half an hour, so yeah, that should suffice. So to understand personalization, let me create a scenario. Let me have a use case, okay? That way I'll be explain the personalization part properly. So let me go back to my cart page. Yeah. So let's say I have this requirement where if someone visits my site between date A and date B, and he likes a session, he or she likes a session, he or she adds it to the cart, and then they change their mood, right? And then they delete it. Okay? In that case, what I would like to send them an additional coupon code, an offer, saying, hey, we noticed that you are interested in this particular event. This is an extra 10% off if you want to book. Yeah? Seems good enough? You might have seen this in Make My Trip. If you book any tickets and if you have abandoned your session or if you have deleted it from your cart, Make My Trip will send you a coupon saying, hey, you just visited my site, you wanted to book, take this and avail more discount. So this is something like that, okay? So let's try to implement that. To do such personalization, we have something called experiences in CDP, okay? And there are two kind of experiences, web stack, web and full stack. So this is how I look at them. This definition keeps me sane. Web is basically if you want to send a custom HTML to your website, then you'll use a web experience, okay? For anything else, I'll use full stack. So right now, I'm not sending any custom HTML to my website, so I'll be using a full stack experience, okay? I've already created few experiences so that demo is quicker. There are two kind of full stack experiences. One is called triggered, one is called integrated. What is triggered? So triggered is basically you're tracking a kind of interaction that user has on your website, okay? So let's say, in my case, that kind of interaction would be deleting something from the cart, okay? So what I need to do, I need to create a custom event. Whenever someone deletes something from the cart, I need to send that event to CDP. That's all, yeah? So that's what I have done. This method does exactly that, okay? So whenever someone deletes anything from my page, what I'll do, I'll create an object, first of all. In that object, I'll send a type. Type will be the event type. This is a custom event type. You can just name it and CDP will create it for you, okay? And then you need to mention the point of sale. You need to mention your browser ID. So this is how you get it programmatically. And that's it. So let me show you. When I delete this particular item from a cart, two things will happen. First, this data will get sent to the CDP. Second, I'll receive an email because I have already written the experience. But I'll walk through that as well, but let's see. First, let me go to the guest. And I am Nitesh at all to do. Right now, I am visiting the cart page, right? Now let me try to delete something from the cart. Done. I'll talk about this. Like I'm giving some coupon code right in front. This is a different interaction. I'll talk about it later. But for now, let's see how it looks like in CDP. So if I just refresh this, an email was sent using experience that I'll talk about. And then you can see in session, something called delete from cart was called. Yeah? This is what I sent whenever a user deleted something from my cart. So now I'll use this event to personalize the experience, okay? So let me go to the experiences, full stack. Let me create another instance. Let me open another instance of Boxsaver so that I can show you by creating a new experience as well. It's pretty simple. You just need to go here, create experience. You need to select which kind of experience you want to create. Right now, I'm creating a triggered experience. So triggered experience, give a name. Okay. So using this experience, I wanted to send out an email, okay? But CDP is not capable of that. What should I do in that case? So there are something called connections in CDP. So you can connect to an external system and use that system to send emails. Let me show you that. Just go to configure API request, and then there you go. These are all the connections that I have in my current CDP instance. You can create your own. Let me show you that as well. Connections, yeah. Add a connection. This is how it looks like. You can connect to a third-party data system, AI system, or something close to send data. Okay, basically any kind of third-party system. So if I go here, it's pretty simple. You just give a name, description. Then in authentication, you provide your authentication that you have. I am using Mailjet to send emails, so I'll showcase you that. This is the connection that I am using. I'm using something called Mailjet. I don't, if you have not heard of it, it's an email provider which supports REST-based email. You can basically send emails using REST-based APIs, that's all. So this is their endpoint. And then I need to create my username and password, which I have already created. So that's why password is not visible. And then if you want, you can test the connection here by sending some data and then test now, okay? I'm not going to do it now. But this is how easy to connect a third party to a system to accommodate CDP to do something which it cannot, like in this case, to send emails. Okay, so let me come back and talk about the experience. So once I'm done connecting with a third-party system, in this case an email client, then I need to define a trigger. Like when should this experience run? In this case, this experience should run when someone deletes something from a cart. So I'll go to custom trigger, and here I'll write like equals whenever the event name is equal to something. In my case, the event name was this. Delete from cart, yeah? So I'll write delete from cart here. I'll show you how it looks like in an existing experience. You see? The event name is delete from cart. So whenever an event delete from cart happens, this experience will be triggered. Yeah? Now what about the business logic? All of this is good. But what about the actual business logic? Where do I write it? That's where decisioning comes into. And this is where we'll talk about the data model. So data model of CDP is pretty simple. Basically, we have a guest. A guest can have multiple orders, multiple sessions. A session can have multiple events. Okay? That's all. And then you can add custom properties to your user as well. Let me show you. This is how a user looks like in CDP. Yeah? So this is me. This is all of my data in CDP. And you can see that a user has multiple sessions, yeah, and each session has multiple events. Okay? So since I deleted something from my cart, I should have an event here which should correspond to that. So delete from cart. You see? Now based on this type, I can write my business logic because I can figure out that, okay, this user has in fact deleted something from the cart. So now I'll come to my decision model. This is where all of the magic happens. So let me create a decision from scratch, decision model from scratch. This is how it looks like. So basically, you need whatever data model you'll create, it will be in a draft version. So I'll create a variant. I'll name it anything. Let's say delete. Okay. Now this is interesting. If you remember in Sitecore, we have something called personalization rules, right? For every component, if you want to personalize a component, you go to that rendering, you go to the personalization section, then you write rules. Like if this is the input, run this particular code, and then based on the output, show this component or hide this component. This is what personalization is like, in fact. Same thing we'll do here, but this will be more graphic. This will be more visual, okay? So first of all, I need the input. So input is present in guest data, or if you want, you can get it from the session as well, okay? Now, I need to run some business logic. To do that, I need to have a programmable, okay? You can connect your input data to your programmable. So this means that all of my input will now be accessible inside this programmable. Similarly, all of the sessions will be available in the programmable. So whatever is the output of this programmable, that I need to send through a decision table. So decision table is the place where I'll write the scenario that I had. Like if you have visited something from date A to date B, then this is the offer that I have for you, okay? So that will be inside decision table. And since you are offering the 10% off, you need to add a offer store as well. I'll talk about it very soon. So let me first connect everything. The arrow means this is how the data will flow, okay? So the input data of guest and session will flow into programmable. The programmable data will go into decision table. And then decision table can also read from the offers, okay? So this I can connect. If my cursor works. Yeah? So that's all. Now I need to write my business logic inside programmable. I'll just go edit. I already have that, so let me showcase you that. This is the decision model that is currently running, okay? Let me showcase you how it looks like. Yeah. So this is all JavaScript, okay? Pretty simple. This is all you need to do. So all of that information for a particular guest will be in this variable, guest variable. You need to extract sessions from it. Then each session will have events. So you will extract the event from it. And then you saw that in the user, this was the property I was looking for, type, right? So that is what I'm using here. Search event.type. If type is equal to delete from cart, Then this is all I'm doing. I'm creating a HTML body, okay? Like, what is the session name? What was the cost of that session? All of that. All of that is getting built into an HTML body, and I'm returning an HTML body. That's all. So here I am gathering data to send through an email. That's all. I have not defined the condition yet. That will be inside decisioning table. So this is where I write my scenario. So if you have visited my site between 1st of August 2023 and 31st August 2024, I can give you a 10% off if you have deleted something from the cart. Okay? I can showcase you how you can create this. Let me open a new instance. No, I don't want to save. Oh, I deleted. Okay, let me quickly create. Nothing fancy. Yep, that's it. So yeah, in input, you need to decide what should be your input criteria. In my case, I want to see the guest last name, right? So this is, sorry, not last name, last scene. Yeah, that's all, done. And then in output, I need to access to offers, yeah? So let me talk about offers quickly. So if you want to provide any offers to your clients, this is where you do. This is where you create the offers. So you'll have an offer template, okay? You'll create a template. Based on that, you'll create an offer. I already have that offer that we just saw. I'm offering a 10% discount, right? And that's all. That's all you need to do. And then where is it? Here, yeah. Am I logged out? No? Okay. So yeah, so I just inputted this using, I showcased you how to do it, and then how to do this as well. How do you include the offers here? So once this is done, I need to move that variant to production, okay? Only those variants will run which are into production. You can first move it to test environment, then you can use there's something called experiments to run A/B testing. Once you are satisfied which version you want to put into production, you can put that variation in the production, okay? That's all about the decision models. Now this is where the email magic happens. I can write my custom code here in the API body. It's like, looks like C#, JavaScript, HTML, everything together, right? Yeah, it's crazy. So first of all, I need to get the output from my programmable. So this is the function that does that. You need to define your programmable name, and then you get the value of programmable. And then this is all mailjet, where you give the from address, then to address. To address will be, I'll extract from the guest.email, and the subject and the HTML part. That's it. If you want to know more about these, how do I get all of this data? It's pretty simple. Go to I need to go to decision model, okay. So go to your decision model, run the model that you just created. Yeah, there's something called test canvas. So if I provide my input here, let's say customer Nitesh, this is all my data in this CDP, yeah, and then I'll just test canvas. You'll see that this particular decision model, in fact, emits out 10% discount if someone has deleted from the cart between date and between date B, okay? And then you need to see this inside an JSON object so that you can extract all that information in your email API, yeah? Pretty simple. You already know all the properties. You can just access these properties to get the data. Like in this case, I'll be accessing the HTML body data where I have defined everything, yeah? That's all. And let me quickly show the email as well that I might have received, since this is out of my organization. So this is the email that I received. If you remember, this was the event that we added to the cart, and we deleted it. And I also received the coupon code that I intended to provide to that particular user, yeah? And I also mentioned what was the card value at that particular point of time, yeah? Okay. Now let's quickly look at the interactive experience. Interactive experience is something like you can create an endpoint at CDP. So that is the experience that will run at CDP site. But you can extract that data from CDP to your server side and then use that data. Yeah, reverse. Earlier, all of my data was going from my website to CDP. Yeah. Now I want to read data from CDP to my website. Okay. So that is what you do through using interactive experiences. So this is an interactive experience. I'll quickly talk about it. Pretty simple. You just go to if I want to create a new one, go to full stack, create an experience, create an interactive experience. All of the mostly same steps. You need to provide a decision model here. You need to provide API response and a filter. So let me open something which already exists in the system so that I can talk through those options. Integrated. Do I have an integrated? I should have. Interactive, sorry, not integrated, interactive. Yeah. Okay, so this is all you need to do. You need to include the decision model. I already created the decision model for one of the experiences, right? If you remember, the last experience. So I can reuse it here. So I added it here. And then in the API response, this is where I'll expose the data. The data that my website can use now. So I am exposing title, first name, last name, and if there is any offer that decision model is returning, I'm using that offer as well. So what I need to do, I need to go to my code. There's something called call flows. Yeah, this is how you get to talk to Boxserver. Okay, if you want to get something from the Boxserver or CDP, this is how you do it. Basically, you need to send an object here, flow data. In flow data, you need to pass the client key. You need to pass the experience ID that you want to get data from. In my case, the experience name was delete of a full. I'll quickly showcase where you can find that information. If you go to the details, this is what we are looking for. Okay. And then you need to provide the point of sale, browser ID, pretty much standard stuff, and that's it. So once you get the data from CDP, I'm collecting it into offer variable, and then I'm giving a alert on my page. So the alert that you saw some time ago on my page, that was coming from this particular experience. Okay? That's all there is to talk about interactive experience. I have like 5 minutes. So I'll quickly talk about web experience as well. So let me show you something. Let me go back to my session, home session page. Yeah. And let me refresh it. Let's see what happens. Okay. So earlier you saw that I was providing a pop-up whenever someone deleted something from the cart. That was an ugly experience, right? So if you want to have a sophisticated experience, you can do it through web experience. You can send custom HTML using the web experience. Let me showcase how you can do that. So this was never developed, okay, on my server side. I have not developed this on my server side. This entire thing is coming from CDP. So I need to do is go back to my experience. Web experience and then Edge. Yeah, I'll quickly talk about it. It's pretty simple stuff. Okay, in experience, this is where you'll send the custom HTML that you want to send, okay? So you go here. This is the HTML that I have designed here. You can have your own design. Boxever gives you many options to choose from. You can have your own design as well, okay? So this is the HTML that I designed here in this experience. And then I targeted a specific page. So I want to showcase that particular HTML only on these 2 pages, okay? Whenever user is on sessions, then only I want to showcase this HTML to the user. And then what should be the condition? Condition is, this is like you can select who will see that particular pop-up. So in my case, any user who has deleted something from their cart between date A and date B. So this is where you write that logic, yeah? So let me show you how do you write that logic. Pretty simple. Basically, you need to look for this event type, delete from cart. If it is there, if someone has deleted something from their cart, I need to send true, okay? So this condition will satisfy if someone has deleted from their cart. You can add the date and everything here as well. Right now, I'm keeping it pretty simple, okay? So if that condition satisfies, I'll show them this. So in nutshell, we saw that you can track your real-time interaction with users. You can send them real-time custom HTMLs. You can send them real-time emails based on certain condition or certain actions that they have performed on the system. I think that's about it. If you have any questions, I can take them. Yeah, thank you.
So
Yes.
I have a question around personalize. So like, for example, if CDP is not onboarded yet by the clients,
Uh-huh.
so will we be able to use personalize with the limited features like basic web experiences, personalization?
Basic web experience. So experience is personalization.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. But
Yeah.
my point is I don't have the CDP system yet, right? The backend where all the segregation and all is happening. I
Okay.
just have a personalized instance. So will I able to still serve some of the static HTML to the end user, the personalized content?
No, if you don't have CDP connection, how can you?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
If you don't have CDP, you cannot use CDP. Maybe I did not get the question.
No, so the point is, my question is like, obviously both these tools are purchased separately, right?
Right now,
So,
yeah. So now they are sending it separately, correct?
yeah. So
Yeah.
the point is, if you have personalized, but
Huh.
you don't have CDP yet,
Yeah.
right? So
So no.
obviously, because I am going through that kind of use case right now.
Yeah, I
So
understood.
like,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
am able to see the guest data
Huh.
and all in the personalized instance, even
Yeah, yeah.
without having the CDP. I'm
Uh,
able to do the web experiences creations and all.
uh,
But then I'm still not very clear on that part whether uh, is CDPs must, because I have seen some documentations where it has been mentioned that okay, personalized can be used with some of the some limited features actually.
yeah, so to answer briefly, if you want to have a full stack experience, you must have CDP because that's where you are writing all of your logic, all the user interaction, all of data is residing there. Maybe the web one, the web experience, maybe it is feasible because in this example, I'm using the user data, so this example won't be possible. But if you want to send simple HTMLs, even without the user data, it is possible. Yeah.
Yep, I
We
think